Gotta make sure. So, but hey, y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide Hair Podcast featuring the one and only Brittany
What's going on?
Drew. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We blessed to be alive. Another day, another dollar, another blessing. Hello. God is good all the time, and all the time, God is good.
Facts. That's real.
Yes, ma'am. So, let's get it started. So, Miss Brittany, can you tell us how you got to where you are in your sports journey?
Yeah, I think, well, just starting from the beginning, from Greensboro, North Carolina. A lot of people don't know this. I got into basketball because my mom was saying that I need to get into an active sport. At the time, I was kind of getting a little overweight. And so she was like, you need to play something that gets you more active. So I started playing basketball and I started with AAU. I started in sixth grade, then started AAU in seventh, and then kind of moved on. And after AAU, of course, you start high school. So I went to Page High School. And then after Page, I went to Guilford College. And then after that, I was like, I might need to step into a situation of coaching or, helping kids. And that's when I started my nonprofit after I graduated.
First, can we, Miss Brittany, can you tell us your nonprofit and what your nonprofit is about?
Okay. My nonprofit is called Drew Effect Sports. And Drew stands for Dream, Rehearse, Execute, Win. And so our main mission is to mentor and empower youth and young adults through sports camps and leagues.
Oh, first of all, can we? I just need to give you a big shout out. First of all, a woman in sport, particularly a black woman in sport, doing what you're doing, especially providing a huge space with the Drew Effect League. It's truly amazing to see that for real. Like, I just want to give you the biggest flowers for that. Like I said, it's truly amazing to just see not only a woman in sport, but a black woman in sport doing what you're doing and creating a space and having so many people showcasing their talent and stuff. So I just want to give you the biggest flowers for you. So shout out to you.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you. It takes a village, I can tell you, with my league. So, well, with just nonprofit in general. So I am who I am, but because of my support system.
For sure. And this leads to my question. During your time at Guilford College, what would you say are some of the misconceptions of the competition that Guilford College was in?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, and even now that I'm coaching Division 1, I tell my kids that I coach. I was a product of Division 3, and Division 3, Division 2, JUCO, and NAIA, all these other, other than Division 1. A lot of people think that you aren't good or you aren't good enough. And I think that's the biggest misconception. If you look at when I graduated or the time period when I was in high school, I can look at every public school in Guilford County and even surrounding areas in the triad from High Point to Winston, and then you travel to Charlotte and whatnot. But there were so many Division 1 athletes on that team, but every team was good. It wasn't like you looked at your list and was like, oh, it's a dub over here at Western, or it's a dub over here at Southeast, or a dub at Grimsley. Like, no, you had to be prepared for every team. And we had girls that went Division 3 like myself, but we were really good. It's just certain things that happen. You could be undersized, or you could just be overlooked, or, there's a lot of opportunity. But needless to say, I learned a lot at Guilford College. I played against girls who actually went Division 1 and then moved to Division 3, and it was very competitive. Won 2 championships there my freshman and sophomore seasons, and then went to NCAA tournament, had some appearances, and I had a good career. I mean, I never won a state championship in high school, but being able to do that at Guilford College, it gives you a sense of pride, a sense of all your hard work, and it came into fruition. So I enjoyed my time there.
For sure, and I think that's you hit spot on with it. I think one of the biggest things when it comes to athletes, especially like, is Division 1 the biggest thing like we all dreamed about? Yes, it's one of those biggest things. But if you think about it, like, you know, would you rather showcase your talent? Be able to showcase your talent at a D2, D3, NAIA mid major, and D3. Be able to showcase your talent, change the culture of that college where you're able to make a name and shoot someday have your jersey retired, or would you rather be on like a D1 just because of the name and not be able to showcase your talent and not be able to get the film that you want, especially if you're planning to go professional? Because I think it's that, the D1 moniker, like having like it's the end all be all, but it's like you have to go where you're going to be valued and be appreciated and be able to showcase your talent and not tolerate it.
Absolutely. It's funny you said like that last line you just said. My former head coach that I used to work for, Nicole Woods, used to say, "Go where you're celebrated and not tolerated." And I think that's a big that is true. Like you need to go where you know you're valued, you're the most wanted. It's going to be the right fit for you, and not because of the name or not because of other situations or circumstances.
For sure. First of all, shout out to Coach Nicole Woods. I had her
Hmm.
on here, but shout out to her. Like she's doing what she is doing. Still helping that pro continue to build that program. I mean, like it's what she's doing. Like her continue to do what she's doing. I'm here for it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, like I think that's the biggest thing is you need to be able to go where you're going to be celebrated and not tolerated, because there's, you know, it's like you're supposed to be able to showcase your talent and not be like be on the just on the back burner and stuff. So, and this leads to my question. You from Greensboro, as you know, North Carolina is the hoop state, and
Yep.
the 336 got so much talent going on, like for
Hmm.
real. So this leads to my question. What does it mean to you to be part of the Greensboro 336 hoop legacy?
I think it means a lot. Wherever I go, whether it's traveling for business or traveling just for in general, like Greensboro is what I rep. 336 is what I rep. And I always like find myself down a rabbit hole of talking to different people saying, like, we've had so many professionals or so many people. It's just the talent is insane. There's a lot of guys and women that didn't even make it to college or didn't even make it from college to pro, and they were good and they're still good. And so I think just talking about Greensboro in itself is like we've created a hoop culture that people want to be a part of, because it's like we're very territorial. Like when you from Greensboro, you kind of know everybody, especially when you hoop scene. But when it's us against somebody else, oh, we got each other back. Like it's not even we all together. So I think it means a lot to be kind of in a conversation or even just trying to have a small handprint or a footprint in regards to what Greensboro has created from a basketball standpoint. So I rep it everywhere I go.
I know that's right. You better let them know what it is, what time it is, too. So, and this is a mini fun question. So, I I would love to hear your input on who is in your North Carolina Mount Rushmore Hoopers, whether it's female and males,
Man, we've had so many hoopers.
just
I
from
think
your perspective.
just
From
from
your
my
perspective.
perspective, I gotta also like okay, let me start with the females because ladies first. Jasmine Gill, I played with her at Page High School. I think she has to be in that conversation. Um, Paris Key, another Page alumni, and we got to start talking about Grimsley too. Grimsley had like some hoopers like Amber Cook, Tremaine Lucas. Um, they just had a lot of people. And then you go to Smith had some. I don't know. I'm trying to like go down the list. Imani Watkins, she's still hooping now, but she can go. Christina Carter, she played at Thomasville, and now she's at she went to A&T. Man, it's a lot. Timber, we had so many people. Um, yeah, we had a lot of people. I'm trying to like list them off in the back of my head, but that's what I would say right now. It's definitely more. But then guys, I mean, you got to talk about how just mm, that Grimsley group was good. So Kennard Moore, like he's in my He plays in my league. He's really good. You got to talk about PJ Harrison, Will Graves at the Dudley scene, Sam Hunt. There's oh man, I don't know. I guess I'm like I feel like I'm stumbling on this question, but there's so many hoopers that have been in the league that I mean, just come out of Greensboro that it's just hard to just pick like my
Like
favorite top five. Yeah,
it's like so many. It's that's why I said
yes, a lot.
it could be. I was like it's because you list all these people. I'm like man, and then some of them actually play in like the semi-pro team, like Monty and Christina, part of the Raleigh
Yeah.
Aces. And then Amber Cook, part of the Winston Salem Warcats. There's so many, and then you have the men like you said, like some of the men players playing in your league, which leads to my question. The owner and the creator of the Drew Effect League. You have been in the basketball scene for so many years. For you, what does it mean to have your league to, be part of not only the North Carolina hoop history, but also be able to have so many players be able to showcase their talent in your league?
Every year I get more and more amazed with the amount of talent, the amount of people, and just the community that we built over these last 8 years. And not only just community on the court, but there's just community of people who not only they don't have to hoop. They just come because they enjoy the best sport, or they enjoy the people that come out, or even the village that I feel like helps me be able to run the league and be so successful, from the volunteers to the staff. And there's so many people I need to name, but I think it's a community. When people come to the Drew League, I want them to understand it's home. So even if you come one time, it's just like a family reunion. So it's cool to see certain people that come for the, you know, 8 to 9 weeks out the summer, and they're like, hey, I'm home. Like, it's a good environment. They feel safe. They can watch some good basketball and then just have a good time. So it's cool to see how every year we meet more new people, more new teams, and be able to kind of just bring something positive to the city.
For sure. And this, I was wondering if, like, say, the Drew Effect League would have, like, say, would they have, like, a women's program in the future for it?
It's funny you say that, because now that I'm like coaching college at the Division 1 level, there's a lot of different things that I can have my hands in and cannot have my hands in. So women is one that is kind of a sticky situation for me. So I've kind of um, not necessarily not wanted to do it. It's just because of my current job and situation. I started with women. My first league was a women's league, and it was at Grimsley, and so we did that league, and that turned in well. And then the next year we ended up having a women's and a men's league at the same time. Then the year after that, we had a women's and a men's league at the same time at Page. So I think it's coming soon. It's just a matter of timing. Is probably the main thing for me. Yep.
And this leads to my question, with the women's basketball continues to grow in viewership and revenue and also visibility, what does it mean to you to be part of that?
I think it's big. I mean, you and I both grew up as, we're women. So it's just like being able to give women more opportunities and women helping women. I think that's what's big. And it's cool to see that we have the Greensboro Groove, someone that it's like that next step before you get to the WNBA. But being able to like support them, I think is cool. Like, any ways I can help them, and I've had conversations with the head coach, but if I can try and help them more, I would. If there's a way that we can host more pickups, I would, or all this other stuff. But the time is now for women, and I see a lot of guys watching women's games too, and that's cool to see them get on Twitter or get on social media or get on these other platforms and talk about the games they've seen, or and consistently watch games, because that helps when you see other guys supporting and really seeing the vision of how they work just as hard as guys, if not harder at times, to try and put a name for themselves. So I think it's cool to say that I can help in some form or fashion.
For sure. And, I've had a couple of guests, like, have come in and, showed love to you, especially when I had asked them, what, inspired them to advocate for, women's basketball. And they definitely, like, basically listed you as, like, because just watching her, like, watching her play with, say, one of my sisters, or watching just your game, and to see, what does that mean to you, as where you have inspired, say, some of the men to tune in to women's basketball.
I don't know, low key, that makes me emotional. I mean, I think being able, and a lot of people ask me like, why did you even start the Drew? And I'm like, I really just want to be able to have something or for the community, because when I came back, and now mind you, Guilford College is not far from Greensboro. It's literally in Greensboro. But in the summers, there was never any places for me to really just hoop. And I say, you know what, when I get done, I want to be able to have something. So I think being able to have an environment where, every summer you can come back and get some quality hoop and quality connections, and be able to kind of be like, man, like I've enjoyed my time, and then I can go back and it can prepare me for my fall and winters and springs at other places. I think that is valuable. And I thought, why not in Greensboro, when I feel like if we talk about North Carolina, you got to put Greensboro in that conversation of hoopers that have been born and bred. And I think it was good timing for that. Um, and for me, I just like to help people. If anything, I don't even like showing my face half the time and a lot of stuff. I just want to be behind the scenes. I like seeing people who just have fun. So for me, being able to have a platform where people can kind of display their talent and have something to come home to, that that warms my heart for the most part.
Yeah, let me get my little mini tambourine shakers, because I'm here for that. Because hey, I felt, how I felt is like, when you said, I don't really like to be in front of the camera. I'm usually the right, like, just behind the scenes person. Like, it's like I just want to see everybody win. Like, it's like just
Hmm.
it's like I just don't put the, like. But if I'm able to get, I was like, I must be the lucky one to get you on here. So it's like just I must. I'm gonna count all my little blessing stars. Like, I got the creator, the owner of the Drew Effect. Like, and not to mention, Coach Brittany, you are the assistant coach for the Stetson women's basketball, and you were previously was the assistant coach at UNCW. And from, what was the transition like, going from the playing aspect to now the coaching aspect?
That's a good question. I say so. When I started coaching high school, high school basketball in general, I didn't know I wanted to be the coach that they never like that I never really had, or like, because you have a lot of coaches in your life, and at this point when it comes to sports, most coaches become like kind of parents, or you spend a lot of time with these kids to a point where you can really affect them in a positive direction or a negative direction. And I wanted to be something that, what, like, win, lose, or draw out after basketball, like, I want you to just be a better human being. And I want you to learn basketball throughout the way, along the way, but also can you learn how to deal through with adversity through that. And I say this all to say, I think I it was a hard transition technically in the beginning, because I didn't know how to put basketball down. When I stopped playing basketball, a lot of people don't talk about the transition from being a basketball player and then being a non-basketball player,
That
because
part.
we're wired. I was wired from seventh grade to be practicing from between the hours of like 2, let's say 3 p.m. to like maybe 6 to 7 p.m. I was always doing something with basketball, at least 4 hours after. And so when you become a non-basketball player, you're like, so I got 3 to 7. What do I do? Like, you don't know what to do. And so that was hard for me. And I'm like, man. So then naturally, I was like, I got to find a way to get around basketball. And so that's kind of how I stumbled into coaching, because one of my friends at the times was like, hey, I need somebody to help me train this developmental group. I said, okay, cool. And then that turned into me being a high school head coach. So um, I hope that answers your question in regards to that.
Very yes. I This is a conversation I was telling somebody. This is one of the conversations that a lot of people don't get to talk about, is the transition from you hooping all the time or being an athlete all the time to the real world of the okay, what am I without my sport? That conversation of what is life without the sport? Like, what am I doing? Like, because just like you said, you've been playing the sport since you were young, and you're trying to figure out like what am I supposed to do from 3 to 7?
Mm-hmm.
Like having those conversations, like what is life without the sport? Like what it like, and then some because as college athletes, like I mean, I was a college athlete manager. You're trying to figure out like a lot of things we don't that's not taught to us is what is your plan B if you don't get to say the professional league? Are you gonna how do you some of them don't even teach them how to apply like the resume sections of like say how to create a resume or how to apply for a job. Like when they ask you like what is your type of skills and everything, it's like where was this at when we were, it's like a lot of the, it's almost like a lot of the things that, some of the things that is skipped that doesn't get taught because like we were so focused on the sport to where so it's like take the basketball away, what are we outside of it? And I
Right.
think, and I think when COVID, and this is the thing that when COVID hit, this is when and it turned everybody's world around when when COVID hit and all the schools were like say closed and everything, and people and the athletes weren't able to say spend time with their teammates because of the world is closed. It kind of like had those moments of what am I supposed to do? Like what am I supposed to do? I can't do anything right now outside, can't go outside and stuff. So and and this leads to my question because you know as a black woman, a coach, and an athlete, how important is mental health to you?
I think it's everything. I mean, you there's countless stories about how, there's a lot of people who are battling a lot of internal issues and they don't know how to have a good stress reliever, or they don't have a positive outlet, or they don't have somebody that understands them, or they just don't feel comfortable. And I feel like we don't talk about it in the community because we feel like it's frowned upon to talk about your feelings, or frowned upon to open up, or you're viewed as like emotion being too emotional, when that's not the case. I mean, everyone is battling so many different things. And I think that's another thing too, is like when I got into coaching, most of my issues were, well, most of my the kids that I was coaching, their issues weren't basketball. Their issues were the off the court stuff, family life, how to deal with, schoolwork. Some people had anxiety, relationships. There were so many different things that it was hard. And then they try to use basketball as a stress reliever, right? And if basketball's not going right, a lot of these kids really don't know what to do. They feel like they don't have nothing to live for because the one thing that was good for them, which was basketball, and they're not performing well, or they're not getting enough playing time, then now it's like something's wrong. You know what I mean? So I say this to say that I think everyone needs to, find a comfort zone, find an outlet. I really like how, especially at different levels, like I'm in a Division 1 level coaching now, but there was resources for you to talk to counselors, so student athletes could talk to counselors, and in one-on-one settings, you can have small group settings, but being able to have that, I think, is key, because a lot of these kids go through some things that we as coaches, or even just parents and friends and other things, just we're not licensed, we don't have the proper resources and techniques to help them. So getting people the proper help, I think, is huge. And I think that's another reason why, I love hearing stories about my league, because some guys are like, man, my best part of my day is your league. And I'm like, man, for real? I don't think about it until they say I had the worst day of my life, but I knew my game was at 6 p.m. I'm like, oh man. So it's cool to see that at least my league is like a bright spot for some people, because it's just a stress reliever, especially for guys. Let's think about the mental health with guys. A lot of people don't even, they don't, uh, it's frowned upon. to go talk to a counselor or, a therapist or all this other stuff, or cry or show your feelings. And it's like, no, like guys, women, everybody goes through stuff. So my bad. I'm going down a whole nother thing. But yeah.
Girl, no, it is perfectly fine. Because I think that's another big thing is, and I've always asked like the male athletes that come here, like, you know, that how important is mental health to them? And it's very, and one of the biggest things that is trying to figure out what's the best way to help them, because a lot of men have this, there's this stigma where it's placed on them if they speak up about anything about their mental health, their feelings, they're considered weak. And I'm like, no, you're not weak. Like, if I'm just, and I always say, if anybody that reads the Bible or big in their faith, they would know that the strongest man alive wept. Jesus wept. Even said
Yes.
that Jesus wept.
Yeah.
So if the strongest man alive literally cried,
Right.
then I would think it's okay that a man can cry. Like, but I think biggest thing is finding that safe space for the men, where where when they open up, the respect is there, because
Mm-hmm.
that's the biggest thing is respect. Because you know anybody can just open up, but you got to find the right safe space where you're able to open up without feeling being scared or being ridiculed. Because these days, some people, you can find a safe space when you think you found a safe space with somebody, and then somebody might weaponize what said in confidentially, and might weaponize it against you and later. And it's like, you have to find a safe space where, say, when you do open up, you are respected and appreciated, and not just like, say, tolerated, not disrespected. So, and I think
Right.
that's one of the biggest things that, like, I always say, is one of those conversations that needs to be talked about. But unless we have these conversations, unless people be willing, it's one of those conversations that's gonna be like, how are we gonna be able to help people if they like, because I know I can't read people's minds. I cannot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If I was able to, kudos. But I'm not, no, I don't have that mind right now. I don't have that mind reading. Nope. So, but yeah. So, and this, my question is for you is, when it comes to representation, especially for women's sports, but also for what you have done for the community, how important is representation?
Uh, I think representation is big, but also representation with consistency. So, for instance, it's um, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they were like, were there moments where you felt that you were gonna just stop doing the league or stop doing stuff with Drew Effect? And I said, there's moments where I feel that way, but I learned so much through basketball that made me who I was that I'm never going to quit. I'm never going to turn my back, and I'm never going to stop doing stuff because it got hard. But I also know there's a bigger picture. Like, this league isn't for me. This league is for 200 plus guys that come every summer. Or like, if I don't do this, what are those 200 guys going to do for 8 hours, 72 hours and in 9 weeks, like, and from 6 to 10, when they could be doing the worst things between the hours of 6 to 10 p.m. in Greensboro when crime is already up. Like, I am doing Greensboro a disservice if I don't do this league, and I'm not helping be help these guys. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's be representation is important, especially when you know that it is needed. It's about an essential, like, you're serving a purpose for helping another person. And when it's helping another person, it's not about you no more. So
Man, that's so real, because it's like, you just hit the point. It's like, what is, like, what disservice am I going to do if I don't have the lead? Especially if, what are the 200 plus players going to do if you know if that, you
yep.
made a great point. I'm like, that, because like, this is what the power of the basketball is. You will see people be unified and be like, come together, and that just come together. Even though there's some of them will be like talking smack and go crazy and
Part of
stuff.
it, though. That's cool. That's a part of it.
Yes, but like, but it meant like, you know, it's less crime. You you giving them a space where no trouble is coming out, you give them a space where they're unified, they're being able to express themselves through the game, being able to have fun. I mean, shoot, it is a and all the family people that have
Mhm,
families, they come together and
mhm.
just it's almost like say, um, like a good weekend cookout, kick out, like a kickback,
Yes.
a weekend. Like I got my words confused for a moment. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
I'm
you
stuttering.
good. You good.
So it's I think when you got the family together, like when you see so many people and then you have so many players coming from all over, say North Carolina, or even some from like different parts of the world coming to compete, like and especially from players that you know spread the word about, hey, you should check it out. I would be like, man, shout out to y'all. I'm like, yeah, I'm here for it.
Yeah. I mean, it matters. It matters for sure.
And this leads to my question, if there was a word or a phrase to describe your journey so far, what would it be?
One word?
It, I'm gonna put you. Matter of fact, you could have multiple words
Mm, that
if
is
that
tough.
helps.
That's a tough one. My journey, just in general. Uh, underdog. Hmm, committed, and I guess I'll choose another one. Is I don't know. I pride myself on my work ethic, so I would just say hard work. Like those are like the three things that pop in my head in regards to what my journey, is.
Could you break down like each word of what those words meant to you within your journey?
Yeah, I think even in basketball, I mean, being honest, I mean, if you see me, I'm 5'3". Like, so I'm already just small. Like, smaller people are always like in this, you have to have this underdog mentality. Like, so I would say that is what led me through everything. I had to outwork so many people to get to where I was in my basketball career. And then that led to me with the unshakable hard working work ethic in the classroom and as a coach and so many other things. I always felt like an underdog wherever I went. Even when I stepped into the nonprofit scene, I'm like, I have to outwork so many people and stay in my own lane, because if I don't have this underdog mentality, Brittany isn't who she is today. Drew Effect isn't who she is today. So that's why I would say the underdog. Committed. I mean, I've been committed through basketball, committed through different jobs that I've had, committed just to my family, to my, everything, even through Drew Effect. Um, I would say once I say that I'm doing something, I follow through with it. So commitment is huge for me. And hard working, I think that's just the basis of everything. I watched my parents and my mom, especially, she made sure we had everything. It didn't matter what the type of job she had, and we weren't necessarily like super rich or super well off, but we were good. My mom made sure we was fine. And so I think watching her day in and day out, and even just my grandmother and so many people, I was like, I got to do what they're doing, but also be able to, like, how can I help them in return at some point? So then I got to work even harder to show them that I thank them for making me.
Ooh, bro, let them know what it is. I'm here for that. So, and this leads to my question, outside of your sport, what do you want to be remembered for your legacy?
You got some great questions. Remember for I want, and when I leave this earth, and I leave, and I want to be able to be remembered for being able to help in so many people in so many different ways. Meaning, like, if I was your coach, did I help you in the moments that mattered? Like, if I was, you met me through my Drew League, did I provide you with a space that was good for you? Like, did I connect you with, if you didn't have a job, did I connect you with somebody that could be your future employer? Like, I want to be able to just be like a connector. So when I leave, I want to be able to know that I helped so many different people, in so many different ways. And so, yeah.
Ooh, I'm here for it. You like just the connector, like the plug,
Yeah,
the outlet.
yeah, I just want to be here. If you need something, I want to be that person that, like, even if I don't have the answer, I can find somebody that has the answer and can help you on your journey.
Oh, we love it here. I'm here for it. We love it here. So, hey, it's like you got to surround yourself with the right people who will help you because those right people will connect you. Like, I may not know the answers, but I know somebody that do, that know
Right.
that aspect. So it's like,
But you
I'm
go,
here
we all go together. Like, it's better to go further together than trying to do it separately. And we're all trying to be successful. We can all be successful in the same type of field. We just got to be able to want to, like, open up and collaborate. I'm huge on that.
collaboration is key, y'all.
It
Collaboration
is.
is key. It's like you know how much so much work can be done through collaboration. It's like
Yes.
especially like if it's especially if y'all both have say some people have the same mindset, but like you know how many more amazing things can happen when great people be having think like right minded people like the right people with the same like minded people be like this, but
Yeah.
like
I
it's
feel
like
you.
you trying to help. It's like you trying to help the community. I'm trying to help the community. Come together. Come on. Like it's like two birds in one stone, or two peas in the pie. There you go. Two peas
Right.
in the pie. There you go. So
Because
it's like
you just do more damage. Like, when you put two minds together and you already have the same goal and same vision, I mean, you can create a monster event rather than just we doing a separate event and it has the same, you know, experience necessarily.
that makes perfect sense for real. Because I was like, it's like why not combine the two and then I mean, or if you feel, I mean, if it helps, if you feel like it's separate events be happening, that's cool. But it's like combine those two events to one.
Yeah.
Dreamwork make the team work, y'all. So,
Right.
so I always ask my guests this question because Bonafide means authentic and unique.
Okay.
So, what makes Miss Brittany Drew Bonafide, and what makes your story stands out?
Yeah, I think I'm, you know, unique or necessarily, like, different, but I also think I'm just like a regular person that just stayed with it. Like, I'm just a person from Greensboro who just had I never took no for an answer. Like, I always found a way. And I think the person who just keeps going and knows their goal, and I think that's what it is. Like, what makes me different is, like, I know my goal and I'm going to find ways to get to that goal regardless. And I'm just I don't know. I don't know how to explain how that makes me who I am, but I do think it makes me different just because I there's a lot of things that I do that I'm like, why do you do that, Drew? But I be playing chess. Like, I don't think about, like, what happens tomorrow. My next event is being planned a year from now because that's how I think. I think a year from now. I don't think about 2 months from now. So I guess I'm unique because I think ahead, and I'm unique because I am loyal. I'm unique because I just been genuine. Like, people who've known me from high school, I have not changed. I've been the same exact person. I just got older, and so
Hey, you better let them know. It's like I'm still the same person you met from
yeah,
high school, but a little bit older.
yeah.
I'm
Just, we all got different phases in our lives, so I just think now I'm a little bit more confident in certain areas than I was when I was in high school.
Girl, I would have never expected you would be 5'3", but shoot, girl, I would have never expected 5'3". I was like, well, her personality is 6 foot, so it's heart over height. It's like her personality is 6 foot. I would never expect to be 5'3".
Yeah,
So,
super small. I tell my mom every day, I'm like, why did I like I couldn't get 5'6"? Nothing.
but if you think about it, when you play, it makes a whole bunch of people harder to try to work their plays against you, around you. So it's like, oh well, you know what, I utilize. It's like I'm gonna just, like, I'm not short. I'm fun size. I make the whole world better. I'm just funky
Yeah.
fun. So, but also it's like, you know what? It's like if they trying to make a play against me or try to find a play where they could try to get, like, no, they can't do that.
Right.
It's like I changed the system. It's like I changed the system. So,
Right. That's what made me that
so
underdog.
you better let them know. You
Mhm.
better let them know. So, Miss Brittany, can you let the folks know how they can find you, support you, and any upcoming events happening your way?
Yeah, so I would say main thing, especially if you're in the triad, any events that Drew Effect is having, please support. And support doesn't have to mean from, a financial standpoint. Like support can be like liking a post or, following or sharing the word about an event or showing up one time, word of mouth. So there's so many things that I feel like can happen in regards to that. Cause one share or one like or one retweet can help us advance. And so that's what we're always about. And you can find us on social media at Drew Effect League, and that's through Instagram. Our nonprofit page is called at Drew_Effect. So we do have two Instagrams, and then for me, it's at Coach B Drew, and most of that stuff is really just my college coaching and just my personal stuff. So that's how you can really follow me on Instagram. It's Brittany Drew, and then all of my Drew Effect stuff is kind of tied to that too. So that's kind of the main social media streams for me.
Y'all be sure to follow the queen herself, Coach Brittany Drew, at Coach B Drew. And also be sure to follow the Drew Effect League, Drew Effect League. See where it says CEO Drew Effect, but spell out League, Drew Effect League. And then Drew_Effect for
Mm-hmm.
all things with the Drew. So be sure to check that out. And also, if you are in the Stetson, Florida area, be sure to check out the Stetson women's basketball season this season, and you will see the one and only Coach Brittany Drew coaching there, because hello, repping the 336 all day, every day from where she from there.
Absolutely. And
So she let
Queens. We play Queens, and I gotta look at the schedule, but we'll be in Charlotte. We play Queens there in our conference. So if you look at our schedule and you see us play in Charlotte, we'd love to see y'all there.
they are in the what's it called? They are in the ASUN, so they are in the Charlotte area. So yep, they do play against Charlotte. So if you are in the Charlotte area in the conference schedule time, she will be there.
Yeah.
Stetson will be at Queens. So be sure to, if you in the North Carolina and you show love to Miss Coach Brittany Drew, pack the house for her. So
For real. It's crazy now we talking about it. That's the only North Carolina game. When I was at UNCW, we had so many North Carolina games that it was easy for so many people. I'm like, man, we gotta show up then for that one game in Charlotte. So
girl, better let them know. So be sure to check out the live replay of Bonafide Her podcast, episode 261, featuring the one and only Brittany Drew. And big shout out to Brittany Drew for coming on the podcast. A big shout out to everyone that has tuned in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Peace.